Hi, folks. We're doing evening chill. If anybody wants to come on, let me know what you're thinking about. Let me know what you're going on about. There we are. Uh, if you want to come on, you can do an evening chill. And this guy is making me laugh. Don't know if you've seen this guy, but he makes me laugh. He's so funny.
Yeah.
Huh.
Does
Are
she
you married?
does she obey you?
Oh man, what do you mean, dude? This is 2025. What are you talking about, dude? What are you talking about, this man?
Does your girlfriend obey you?
Yeah, I mean we get along fine.
Does she obey you?
Yeah,
She obeys you.
yeah,
Oh, good.
yeah,
Right on.
yeah. Communication's good, man.
No, not
Everything-
communication. Obey.
What do you mean? Like, what do I have? Do I have like a leather thing around her neck? Like, obey me? Come on, dude. It's 2025. What are you talking about here, Jesse? Gosh.
Korean people seem so meek
Oh Lord.
and humble.
Really?
Ah,
You're
And then-
saying all Korean people are this way.
They seem,
Jesse.
they seem like, oh, yeah.
No, oh my
Yeah.
God, Jesse. We gotta edit that out, dude. You see what he did, dude? He did the Fu Manchu. We don't none of that, dude. 2025, bro. No, we don't do that.
Oh, you don't do anymore?
No, we don't do that. No.
You're like, oh, you want rice?
Oh my God, dude. Oh, Lord. I don't think any of this is airable. Can we even put this on YouTube? Jesse. Oh, man. I forgot the plot. Oh, let's go back to church camp, huh? Man.
So,
Hey, you should use that one as a reel to get people to watch it. Have him go, oh. Jesse, you're from LA, man.
I'm from Alabama.
Yeah. Okay.
See, when I'm walking down the road, I can't tell a Korean person from a Japanese person from a Chinese
Here we
person.
go again.
From,
Really?
Yeah. And so, like, when you're walking down the road, let's say you're walking a crowd of people like that.
Yeah.
Do you guys automatically know that you're Korean or Chinese, or do y'all think y'all look? I mean, do you know right away?
And you know how to throw the curveballs, don't you, Jesse? Holy smokes. Let me think about that one. You know what's crazy is as I get and then after like he was like the miracle man. He had like 8 strokes.
Nice.
And so they had a
Oh, that was so funny. I just bumped into this Jesse guy and he's just making me laugh. It just makes me laugh. We're just having a chill if anybody wants to come on. Just for half an hour. Tulsi. See what it says here. Excuse me.
Is insane. Now, of course, if you scroll down, AI fake image alert. I'll be honest, I just did another video. And I didn't even see that, right? So it is AI. But the reality is that it still could be real. There's another video out there where Jake Paul's lying in a hospital bed and his face is all swollen. And he's like, I'm okay, guys. Pray for me. Just pray for me.
Thought I would win against Anthony, but here I am with a broken jaw, learning the hard way. I'll heal, and I'll be back.
And no doubt that'll be AI as well. So I fell for it, okay? I'm a boomer, whatever you want to call me, okay? Listen, right? The man had his jaw broken by Anthony Joshua. He had to have teeth removed. He had surgery. Okay, apparently he's going to have a couple of plates in his face. So forgive me if I fell for the AI image where his face is swollen. Okay, but the point that I was going to make on that video that I did make, that I'm now redoing, where I know I've been had by the AI, the point that I'm making still stands. Boxing is not a game. Fighting is not something you pick up and mess around with, right? If you're a fighter, if you're a boxer, if you're a mixed martial artist, right, you have to take this seriously and you have to respect the game. That's why when he fought Anthony Joshua, I scoffed at it. I talked a little bit of because.
Yeah, what do I think about the fight with Anthony Joshua? Let's just have a look at that thing there. Excuse me. I'll put a link there if anyone wants to come on. So this was the fight, Jake Paul fight here.
The other guarding legacy, round one, and Jake Paul already on the move. Joshua just picking his. There's that right hand, and that right hand is an eraser. Would be a huge disappointment if he didn't score the first round knockout. But again, David, knockouts are hard to come by no matter what. When you're trying for the knockout again, none of us expected this fight to go long, despite the fact that most of us thought Jake Paul.
So what do I think of this? I think it was just a money-making scam, really. I mean, everybody wanted to watch it just to see what would happen, you know, and it was great promotional material. But the thing what gets me is it was just about money. And I think Joshua made tens of millions, Jake Paul made tens of millions. But at the end of the day, you know, if you're a world champion fighter, why do you need to be doing this? It's just pure greed. It's just about money. It's not about the sport. And it wasn't a match to be watching. I watched it, but it wasn't a match of skill. It wasn't a match of ability. It was a pretty poor performance, really. So my opinion is Anthony Joshua should not have done it. He should keep to being a professional rather than just money making. That's my opinion. What else is on the thing? Let's just see this one. 9. The answer is yes, 9. I would. I'm a hypocrite. I would, 9. You've got me there, buddy. You've got me there, lad. Well done. Fair play to you. Fair play to you, buddy. Okay, this one here.
Prime Minister. We're going to give you guys the latest update on this. Only one of the major mainstream newspapers has actually reported and investigated this and reported this. And of course, we've been getting in touch with the Cabinet Office, our team at 2CTV. We are yet to hear from the government in terms of their statements. We do have one statement that we've received, which we're going to read out to you guys. But everything goes back to all the radical changes that Keir Starmer has been making over the last 2 years almost. And the problem here is that he's not really going to be asking the permission from the general public. A lot of people said quite recently that the Labour government have been cancelling and delaying local elections and then scrapping the trial by jury and then the mayoral election. People said that the next plan is going to be the general election. And I said, I don't see how they can do it. But in this live stream, we're going to give you guys the update on this because the Labour Party chairman, Anna Turley, on behalf of the government, has pointed out to this week's latest radical reforms by the government. They plan to scrap 63 local elections in May 2026, on top of delaying the votes on the mayoral elections across England. So you can't elect your new mayors. The Labour government have now blamed the delays on reorganizations of governance in this country so they're doing a couple of big things. Number one.
So if it's true that the government, we know that they're cancelling some local elections and the mayor elections. We know that, but they're also they're also plotting to push back the general election. If that's the case, they really, really have to be careful because they really are pushing the country to the brink of some kind of major unrest, even civil war. I don't say that lightly, but if they do push the general election back to some kind of absurd time, then with all the other things that they've done, you better be careful. If Britain explodes, you won't be able to put it back in its box. So I'm afraid that we are on a knife edge as a country if they're going to do that. What else is there? Let's see what else is there. This guy has some interesting conversations. He's not a Christian, but
welcome once again to Manchester Piccadilly Gardens. Now, I will be getting further afield in the new year. It's just the really short daylight hours. It's not worth me travelling too far just for a short period of time. So that's why I've been coming here quite often. And let's be fair, it has been the gift that keeps on giving. Now, quite a bit to tell you, but let's just go back to the video that's just been removed off YouTube. That was the actress lady that went a bit bananas. Now, I've had a couple of privacy complaints and a couple of legal complaints. Not sure if they're the same or separate. And YouTube's removed the video pending an appeal. Now, a lot of the times, these are just, I believe, is, well, not exclusively, but a lot of it is driven by men who are autogynephiles. They get a sexual kick of imagining themselves as being a woman or becoming a woman. And then they go into toilets, like you said, with your daughter, and they get what they call a euphoria boner, you know, sexual excitement for being in toilets amongst women and imagining themselves as women.
It's a strange world we live in, my friend. It really is.
And it gives the predators the golden ticket to enter. If we allow this, and it's allowed in law, it gives people with bad intentions a golden ticket to enter sex-divided spaces, sex-separated spaces.
We live in a strange world. Well, to me, the country's gone off the toilet anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're out of the toilet.
Everybody's saying that to me. You know,
Good luck with your message and everything. I agree, mate.
thank you, mate.
But they be what they want to be and how they want to be, but give them their own facilities, give them their own space. Don't intrude on us.
As long as it doesn't affect anybody else, that's fine.
Exactly.
But it is.
Yeah, I mean, the more I delve into it, the more I realize that the world's gone mad, to be honest, with all this transgender stuff.
Said this is bullshit.
Put my jacket here.
Yeah, you can stick it all down there. Yeah.
Freaking ton. Your dad's birthday today. I've got like
Right.
20 quid.
What is- Right.
20 quid worth of fudge in there.
Right. Okay. It's heavy, that stuff as well. Isn't it?
All right.
So, even though I'm talking to you, mate, I will be looking
mate,
over my shoulder.
I'm looking
And,
down
here we go. Here, my boy. All right. Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Keep up the good work.
Cheers, mate.
I've got your section, you got
Yeah.
mine, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
It's only been, how many times do you reckon you've been here?
Here now, recently quite a lot, but I do intend to get to other places.
Because that's not good. Because to bring the good back to Britain, which has had periods of great goodness, well, we need to bring it back to the normality of goodness. And the normality of goodness is man and woman. God created man and woman. That's what. Now, I have nothing against gay people. Don't get me wrong. This has nothing to do with gay people.
I know you used to work in a gay
I
village.
used to work in a gay village called Thompson's Arms years ago as a doorman. Had lots of gay friends, most of the fantastic people I've ever met in my life. So this has nothing to do with them at all. What it is to do is the right to express your view without having people coming up to you and giving you a load of verbal diarrhea. Verbal diarrhea.
And physical abuse as well, mate.
Yeah.
This guy on that Zimmer, the guy there, he's an artist, and he draws, and he does galleries where he's done all his pictures, paintings, and drawings, and they put in galleries. And guess what? Years ago, he did a really good picture of me, and it went to the gallery. So I have some history with the guy on that scooter there.
And physical abuse as well.
Bend over.
So the thing is, as we can see right now, that lady going down there.
That's an incredibly short skirt.
Yeah, now as you can
You've not
see,
seen it, unfortunately.
now as you can see, if you go down Market Street, this half-nude women. Now, I've nothing against that, because that's what they want to do, let them do it. Nothing against that whatsoever. But what I want in Manchester, which is my town, my city,
Yeah.
is the right to say what you are entitled to say in a democratic country. If you can say that without being polarized by these unbalanced people, because I think they are, then you've got half a chance of convincing everybody your point of view. Yes, David? That'll do me.
Thank you, Alton. Thank you again.
A little bit. I know it's not the great.
It's true, but there's so many of these fanatics that try to shut you down, innit?
Yeah.
I mean, can't I just leave people alone?
The thing is, that's what they say to me. But I'm saying I'm doing this because these people, these perverted blokes, are going into women's spaces, right? If they want to put a dress on and walk around, fill your boots. Knock yourself out, mate. Knock yourself out. You can do that. All right, mate. Yes.
It's very true. You can't change your biology.
You can't.
As a man, you're born with X, Y chromosomes, and you can't ever change that regardless of
Yes.
how it appears, right?
Absolutely, mate. You're spot on.
So I agree.
It's true. This is dead true. I know you're teaching her well.
Oh, yeah. He's a character.
He's one of the lefties, but he's hard.
I didn't even hear that. I got super hear it.
But he was just sort of looking on his face, and he just went, psst. Business.
Most trans people I know, they respect a lot of people's boundaries. Like a lot of the trans women I know, they wouldn't date someone who isn't okay with them being trans. Like they want someone who's happy with them, who's who treats them with respect. So they obviously don't want to be with someone who treats them like they're like disgusting, like they're just.
Are you talking about men identifying as women, trans women? Is that what you're talking about? Yeah.
And also trans men, like they don't want to be with like someone who doesn't like see them as who they are. They don't want to be like misleading towards them.
Yeah. So you're concentrating on relationships. What about when they cross single sex boundaries?
Do you mean like going to like a pill or something?
Yeah, that's one space that they shouldn't be in.
I mean, I don't know what you do in the bathroom. I just don't like focusing on anyone else in the toilet. Like, I'm just going to go for like a kiss or something, and I'm just like going about my business. Like, I have never like took particular notice of anyone else in the bathroom. I don't know if someone's trans or not. I don't know why anyone would be focusing on other people to like do that this thing.
But you're a man.
And
yeah, okay. You're not a woman who's vulnerable to men. Okay, so these women that are vulnerable to other men don't want men in their bathrooms. So you're not looking at it from those women's point of view.
Men have been raped by women. Like, why don't you focus on that?
The men that have been raped by women, what's the percentage of rapes that happen to men from women? It's extremely low. Most violence is in the high 90s. This is just violence, not just sex offence. That comes from men towards women. I just want to stand a bit closer to here, if you don't mind, because I thought people might nick that. These people grab that and run off with it.
Yeah, I've seen some of your videos.
Yeah.
So I'm at university somewhere.
Right.
So yeah, I've noticed this guy. He asks practical questions about, well, what about if some trans person goes into a toilet? So a guy dressed as a woman goes into a woman's toilet. What about that? And what you tend to get from these people is they're totally clueless about how that might affect a woman or even a little girl. So you got a little girl, and then this guy comes in dressed as a woman. What's that going to do to the girl? The girl's, you know, it's not thinking about the children. It's not thinking about women. It's just crazy, you know. It's just absolute craziness.
What university do you go to?
So when you're on the campus there, like, and you were like being told about and like being told group chats.
Right. Okay. And what were they saying about me?
They were just saying that like you're transphobic, and they like didn't really know why you like focused on this thing.
Speak up a little. I'm struggling to hear you.
Sorry. Yeah, they just didn't know why you were going to be focusing on the university, like campuses.
This is day 1 of my husband doing Tai Chi workouts. This is day 21 of my.
Well, you can tell them if you want. The university is a breeding ground for this ideology.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. The universities are a breeding ground. They're part of the problem as well. You know, the guy's really good at talking about the topic.
Women have wider hips for childbirth. Can a man get pregnant?
A trans man could.
What's there you go. A trans man could get pregnant. What's a trans man?
You're on a different planet, mate.
Is it university down the road? So there you go. Go on. What's a trans man?
Just the basic
born as a female.
Someone that's born as a female.
Mentally ill. That's why.
Someone that's born as a female. Or part of that, okay, but they'll still have testes and they'll.
Persistent Müllerian duct syndrome is a rare disorder of sexual development affecting genetically male 46XY individuals who appear phenotypically normal male with typical external genitalia. It occurs due to mutations of the AMH gene or its receptor, AMHR2. Preventing the regression of Müllerian ducts during fetal development, resulting in the persistence of female reproductive structures such as uterus and fallopian tubes alongside normal male organs, commonly presenting with cryptorchidism, undescended testes, or inguinal hernias. Boy, it's a mouthful. It can lead to infertility and increased risk of testicular malignancy, though the condition is often discovered incidentally during surgery.
still be able to produce sperm, so there's still a man. Anybody with an intersex condition is still either male or female. Hi, mate.
You all right?
Yeah, good, thanks. That's the truth of it. I appreciate the conversation, but I think your mind's been warped by this ideology through the university, through your circle of friends at university. That's why I go to the universities, because it's...
The guy takes them down. The guy knows his stuff. They can't beat him in the debate. He's not, I don't think he's a Christian, because I've talked to the guy with the board. And he doesn't really understand the gospel at the moment. But he's doing an amazing job in discussing this topic. He has a lot of knowledge about the topic. So fair play to him, you know, fair play to him. Well, so we'll listen to this for a bit.
It's a holiday home. We gave a certain order, all hell would erupt in the UK.
Just compromise yourself and the team.
When I left the military, I was lost, mate. 6 months later, I ended up in prison. I didn't have an identity. That's the problem.
Just how bad is London right now?
London and the UK is out of control.
Do you think we're close to civil war?
The troops are aligned.
What would cause that button to be pressed?
Fact. I know it.
Fuck. What about free speech? Do we have that in the UK?
Someone came and knocked on my door. Yeah, something you said on Wallop. I want to be mayor of London.
What 3 things would you immediately do to take back London?
Zero tolerance policies. We need to revert back to the basics. I've seen the best of humanity. I've seen I saw that sort of hit me in the face. I remember going back to my uncle and auntie once I took him back home. I said, God, he's the only white kid in his class. They said, yeah, we're getting out of here. We're moving out of here. And that's from an immigration standpoint. Now,
do people call you racist when you talk about things like that?
No,
they don't.
No, it's an observation,
Yeah.
right? It's a clear observation that you make and that you see is happening. You know, people think that immigration has been a problem for the last few years. It's been a problem for a while.
Right.
You know, I would say a good 2 to 3 decades. You know, this doesn't stem back from a decade ago or a couple of years ago having open borders. This is a continued problem that has got completely out of hand now.
And why is it a problem?
Because of the culture. It's a culture clash. It's nothing to do with race. It's nothing to do with religion. It's culture. Our cultures do not mix. Our principles, values, and morals are just not the same. Now, a lot of people try and put this down to religion.
You know, the thing there is, it's too many people coming in too quickly, illegally especially, and that's what the problem is. It's causing massive problems.
Like myself, even someone like myself, if I saw that going on, yeah, I would arm myself with certain things in order to counter a blade. But yeah, the natural thing to do if you haven't been is to run, and I would recommend that. Right.
But how'd you run on a train?
Yeah, but
you know,
exactly. When you're locked in and you're going and everyone's trying to get out and you're stuck in, you can't.
No.
So for me, there has to be a way to defend yourself.
Mm.
You know, and I'm very pro, the police force arming themselves with guns.
Yeah.
100%. Now I'm very pro, I'm very pro owners, responsible owners owning certain weapons, which they.
Yeah. I think that there is massive knife crime, and I was quite disturbed when I was in Oldham last week. It is spiritual issues, a central spiritual issue as well, bro. I was in Oldham last week, and I was quite shocked, really, to see. Was it last week or this week? I can't remember. No, last week, yeah. I was quite shocked to see me and Lewis were getting off the bus, and we were going into the town centre to do evangelism. And there was a massive queue to get on the bus, and the people were pushing a bit. And there was this little old lady and this young guy who must have been about 25, and he was pushing her and she was pushing him. And then she just like tapped him on the back with her umbrella. And he said, "I will punch you, I will do you in." And you know something, I thought to myself, when I was a little kid, there's no way anyone would say that to somebody. No way. Not to an old lady. Anyhow, this issue of knife crime is an epidemic, all-time high, more and more. How do you solve it? Well, it's multifaceted. You've got gangs like in different towns, like cities like Moss Side and places like that, and various places in London and Glasgow and all that. But then you've had an influx of immigrants that have come from Somalia, places like Afghanistan, and a lot of these young guys from Afghanistan and all that in Manchester, they carry knives. They've not got any families. They get involved with people who are criminals. So it's multifaceted. The first thing is, I think they need to encourage families to so families are built up so that there are fathers and mothers. A lot of young men go into knife crime because they haven't got a father figure. They haven't got someone to look up to. So they join a gang. So encourage the family and sack feminism and sack wokeism, and encourage the nuclear family of a father and a mother. And so the tax system should be changed so that families can prosper and the kids can be brought up with their dad. And I think that would help massively. Secondly, to encourage schools to teach Christianity. That would massively encourage. And then thirdly, to have zero tolerance. Anyone who's caught with a knife, you need to do 2 years national service in the army or something like that, and you'll soon grow up. And then on top of that, arm the police. And also, I think people should be able to have self-defense. It's not fair that your house can get burgled 6 times, 8 times by someone who does burglary, and they don't get much prison time. If someone breaks into your house, you don't know if they're going to kill you or not. So you should be allowed to defend yourself, because if someone's willing to come into your house, if someone came into this house, I wasn't hesitate to defend this house. Wouldn't hesitate. Because if you're coming into this house, as far as I'm concerned, you want to come in and kill. Because why would you come into someone's house? So I'm not going to stand there and say, "Oh, come in and rob the house." Because you could be coming in, raping and murdering. So there should be a law that you should be allowed to defend yourself. You should be able to have a weapon in the house to defend yourself. And if you did, burglary would drop. And you should be allowed to carry pepper spray or some form of defense when you're going about. Because if someone is willing to come up to you, like we saw in America, that woman, she was sat in that train and someone came up to her and stabbed her neck. If someone is willing to come up to do that to you, you should be allowed to defend yourself. And in our country, we've been stripped of the ability to defend ourselves. When Jesus said, "Turn the other cheek," he's not saying you can't defend yourself. It's about honor. You don't have to be proud to stand up for your right, okay? But when Jesus was being arrested, Peter pulled out his sword and cut the ear off the guy, and Jesus made the ear grow. But notice the disciples did carry swords. Yeah, 100% about that, brother. 100%. Agree with you there, bro.
Do already.
Right.
But when it comes to arming yourself, You just have to be really creative with it. You know, when I come back to London, you might see me walking around with a cane every now and then from this moment onwards, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's call it a sergeant major's cane. You know, it's just like a gentleman's cane. That would be something that I would get quite creative with. One, because you know, just a nice walking stick to keep you stable on the slippery streets.
Yeah.
But yeah, find creative ways to defend yourself, because the government aren't doing it. And this is what I say to people: find legal ways to arm yourselves, whether that's with a newspaper. Remember the hammers, you used to fold a newspaper up in a certain way, rock hard, and you can use that as a baton. Find a way with, you know, paint thinner. Have you smelt that stuff, mate? You know, if you're going to do some DIY around a friend's house and you've got some paint stripper in your, you know, that's spray onto the walls. It just strips paint straight away. And if you accidentally sprayed that on the wall and you got that in your eyes, that would, you know, you'd have to go to the hospital and get that literally, you know, drained out, you know, taken out of you. So again, like you said, we shouldn't have to do that, but we need to do it because the government are doing nothing about these murders.
Why not? So let's go there. Why? What's going on in the police? You hear of corruption within the police. I don't know. Petty crime is not being dealt with. Are they wildly underfunded? Are they being systematically broken up? What's going on?
This all-in-one styler is all I need to feel confident and ready.
Worried about the pace of tech? Don't close the skills gap. Shatter it with the lead.
London is in such a bad state that you look at everything from our MOD, from our security forces, from our law and order, from our justice system. It's all being politicized. Politicized. They're all being used as political tools for the overall narrative and agenda. Now, if you had someone in a room, if you had the world's elite, let's call them, in a room, who control absolutely everything from the media to the government to the politics, the external politics, etc., etc. If they were in a board meeting, you'd have a whiteboard, and the overall objective would be population control. Right, that would be the overall mission. Population control would be at the very top. Big circle around population control. Right, how do we control the population? Racial, blacks against whites, trans against gays, vaxxers against non-vaxxers, Islam against Christians, Catholics. Population control as well is also depopulating the numbers. Now, let's talk about the pandemic. Let's talk about the jabs. You know, there's so many ways to control the population, where that overall factor of population control, this spider's web that fits underneath it, where it's through fear, division, lives taken, whatever it may be, this whole spider web underneath this one mission objective of population control is what's happening.
Why? Why population control?
To control the population.
Yeah, but why?
Control them when it comes to finances, control them where how much money they're earning, how much money they're spending. It's a whole population control and making them reliant on the system. You know, you look at the pandemic, it's a complete reset. People were making way too much money. Their businesses were absolutely thriving. They were, people were finding out how to make money so easily that, less and less people were reliant on the system. More people were getting out of the system. People were moving over to Spain, we're moving over to Dubai, we're moving over to...
Now more people are doing that.
Yeah, but but what you're doing is you're bringing in the world masses now. So it doesn't matter how many per capita, how many people are going out to how many people they're bringing in. You're probably, what is it, 1 on 1,000, I would say. So that doesn't matter. The actual people that they're pushing out.
So you think 1 out 1,000 in?
Fuck. So and again, it's just, and then they're controlling the whole world, right? It's a whole bigger picture of the narrative, but without going too much into that,
we'll go into it.
It's the UK that really, really concerns me, because we are the easiest country. Let's call it a nation. We are the easiest nation to defend. We are an island with fucking shit seas. Let's call it the roughest moats around. We don't need crocodiles and sharks, right? Okay, we've got the shittest, coldest, roughest seas around our nation. It is so easy to defend. So easy to defend. We by air. You can drive from one end of bloody the UK to the next in 7-8 hours, right? It's via air. God, it's easy to defend.
Right.
Our waters should be so easy to defend. We've got one of the best navies in the world, the most efficient navies in the world. They've been stood down. They've been told not to go anywhere near the boats. That's an invasion. They're coming in illegally. They're ultimately coming in illegally, which fighting.
Yeah, just saying that.
Age males, breaching our shores, landing on our shores. Now, if that's not a warning that that not only is that illegal, but you got fighting age males hitting our shores, and if that's not an invasion, if that doesn't come under, then I don't know what is.
No one can smell this good.
It is I want to just talk about this a minute. We don't know what kind of people. How do we know? How do you know that ISIS has not sent regiments over to the UK? So ISIS have sent, right, you 60 men, you go this week. You 60 men go that week. Here's all your machine guns, your rifles, your bazookas, your hand grenades. So you go this week. So the 60 go, all weapons. Then another boat goes. They've got 60 men boats, and they've been filling these boats for weeks and months. And we've got hundreds and hundreds of ISIS stacked in safe houses with machine guns and hand grenades and bazookas. How do we know that's not happened? How do you know that's not happened? If you're not defending the border, protecting the border, you don't know what's happening on that border. To me, that is reckless. To me, that is total 100% recklessness by the government and warrants the government being taken down. Personally, that's my view.
And I'll go back to, I'm MOD being politicized. You've got so much woke bullshit now going on within training. So the woke agenda of this.
What are they training now that's woke?
You can't fucking scream at the recruits. You can't keep them out, at night now, over a certain amount of time. They've got to have so much rest. They've got to be able to, practice their religion. It's just fucking woke, and it's just destroyed our army, our MOD, Navy, Air Force, and Army. Operational, and I'm talking people that you could actually deploy. You would be able to fit easily, very, very, very comfortably in Wembley Stadium.
Wow.
Right, very comfortably. I would say, and you'd have a couple of sections free there. The state of army, no one's joining up. There's no sense of pride. What are you fighting for? Who are you fighting for? There's no sense of pride there, and it's being done on purpose. It's being done on purpose. We're being ultimately being disarmed. We're being suppressed, and it's so obvious now that the people, and this is why people are getting into politics. This is why youngsters are getting into politics now, because they see it. The government's job, and I sort of look at it as like a parent's job. My children, I shelter them from any sort of violence. I shelter them from any anger. I shelter them from any sort of thing that I think, you know, that will affect the way they function as an individual. And that's how a government should do it. The primary role of government is to make you feel safe and secure. It's, you know, even if you're not, it's not to highlight that you are actually in danger or that you're in harm's way or something bad's going to happen around you. But because it's so out of control, and we are seeing it on a daily basis now, from people getting killed, from the boats coming in, whatever it may be, that people are now getting involved in politics. So they're like, what the hell is going on? That's the primary role of a government, to shelter you from all of that, so you can, like I said, grow your family, so you can function in an economy and in a thriving society that once was the UK, that once was London. But now, because we have to look over our shoulders and it's arrived on our doorsteps, i.e. our doorsteps, and to our children, politics is at the forefront of everyone's mind now. The politics is meant to be for the government, for the politicians, and this is how serious right now the layout of the land is when it comes to safety and security.
Feel the difference with that fresh blade feeling that lasts. Gillette Labs are best.
Yeah, no, I know, but it's good just to hear what they have to say. I mean, they haven't got the answers. I totally agree, Nine. I totally agree, but it's interesting to hear. He's ex-army, and he's saying how the army has been, how the police has been. So you're getting an insider view, you know. That's why. And I'm just chilling, bro. I'm just chilling. I'm just chilling, mate. Let's go to I'm just chilling, bro, but I'll get a bit more to you. But I'm just chilling. I'm not particularly doing anything really, but listen to a bit.
Welcome, men. Thank you for your ministries and for your service. Thank you for allowing us to come and be here over these past couple of days as well. Could you remind us, where are you serving? What is your context? And also share with us, what is one way that you have found the gospel has been misunderstood in the context where you're serving?
My name is Linus Chua. I'm a pastor in Pilgrim Covenant Church, one of the two pastors. Our church is a small congregation. We have about 120, 130 in our morning services. We identify ourselves as Reformed Presbyterians. So one of the distinctives of our church would be that we sing the Psalms unaccompanied. To the question of a misunderstanding or a mistake with regard to the gospel, I think one of the mistakes that some people make with regard to the gospel is that the gospel is for unbelievers only, or maybe for new believers, but not really for matured believers or seasoned Christians. And that's a mistake. We all need the gospel, whether we're young or whether we're old, whether we've been in the faith for a few years or many years. A couple of reasons for that. We need the gospel to keep us humble. We all have a tendency to be proud, and we need the gospel to remind us that we are saved, not because we are somehow better than my neighbor or that we have somehow become more acceptable to God. It's by grace. And then secondly, we need the gospel because we sin. We all sin. We're not perfected yet. We need the comforts of the gospel. We need to again and again repent and believe the gospel. And I think the third reason why we need the gospel is because we need to be guarded against legalism. And I think we have heard wonderful messages this morning and this afternoon with regard to sanctification. And we need to be careful that we don't become legalists. One of the common mistakes with regard to sanctification is that we are saved by grace, but we are sanctified by works. And that's a mistake. We are saved by grace. We are sanctified by grace. We are secured by grace.
Wow. It's true. I think some churches, when they become reformed or more teaching and preaching sound theology, people can tend to think the gospel is just for the unsaved, but it's not. It's for those who are saved, and it does keep you humble, and it's needed in order to progress into sanctification. So a great comment.
Thank
there.
you, Pastor James.
I'm James Chu. I'm the minister of Pilgrim Community Church, but in Manila, Philippines. I'm a minister ordained in the International Presbyterian Church. So we're also a small congregation of about 180, sometimes 200 with guests. Pastor Linus has covered all the bases, and we see quite a bit of the same things as well. I think one area that I'd like to focus on is actually how we as Christians can tend to be impatient with other people's sanctification. And we tend to think, if you believe the gospel, definitive sanctification, you're holy. And your life should show that. And it's true, your life should show that. But we forget the progressive part. And so I often tell my people, we always say we are works in progress. But we have to remember whose work we are. You don't walk into a master artist's studio and see different works, in different levels of completion, and point at one and say, look at how ugly that is. No, you say, I can see this is a work in progress. It's going to be a masterpiece. And we are all masterpieces in God's vision. And so the gospel teaches us actually to be patient with one another as these works, trophies of his grace.
Another great.
Hi, I'm Massimo. I'm in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia.
Another good point there. As evangelicals, we can think if someone says they're saved, they're going to be completely changed, every issue dealt with. Yeah, they come to know Jesus and they're changed, but there are still other areas that people have to grow in, and we have to be patient with people. It's a really good point, that.
Church is a bit funny right now. I'm in what I call the already but not yet. I planted a church 7 years ago, Gospel City Church, and they have already sent me out to go plant a new church. but we have not yet covenanted as a new church together yet. So we are in the progress of planting a new church in Kuala Lumpur right now. As it comes to the gospel, misunderstanding, similar what my brothers said, but maybe one consequence of maybe the misunderstanding of that the gospel is not just for your justification, not just for the entry into the Christian life, but it is how we grow in the Christian life, is that often we hear a try harder gospel, meaning that, you know, I've come to faith by grace, but now to sanctify myself, I have to try harder. I have to read more, pray more, do more, serve more, to be able to grow in my faith or become more Christ-like. And I think we hear two versions of that. We see two versions of that. One is you better try harder, otherwise God's going to get you, or you're going to try harder so God can bless you. And they're actually very similar, even though they might be preached in two different kinds of churches, but actually it's just a try harder gospel. And we just need to preach the gospel of grace for all of life.
Great. So we just had a bit of a chill there. Sorry, Nine, if I put that other stuff on. I was just chilling, mate. Just seeing what was on. All right, folks. I'm going to go. It was just a chance to chill out with me just for an hour. I'm going to make a cup of coffee. Take care, Nine, and anybody else who comes on the show. And God bless you. Love to all of you. And I did 3 good streams on biblical stuff. So go and watch that. Keep Russell in your prayer. He is dying. He's in hospital. He's got cancer. He's 50, about 57, 58. And he's in a bad way. Keep him in prayer. They're going to do an operation on him, on his cancer. It's an emergency operation. So, dear. So keep him in prayer. All right. Nine, God bless you. Thanks for coming, bro. Take care. I need to prepare for tomorrow. I'm going to go out and evangelize. So thanks for all your prayers and everybody's support. For those who've given as well, it's been it's a great encouragement. So God bless you all and take care. Bye.